Now very quickly before the video starts, this is myself in the post edit and wanted to let you guys know about my current situation with recording and posting videos. Within the last week, there's been a massive hurricane in my hometown and I've had to drive to another state, and at the moment I can make videos, but they may sound a lot more quiet than normal. Hope y'all are doing good and hope to be back to my normal setup soon. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after near 2 weeks of silence, Valve have finally returned. Late last night, CS2 devs sent out the first real update of the month, fixing bugs while also sending out some shadow updates behind the scenes, as well as new strings of information have been found from last night's update to have co-op missions and quests tied in. So could that mean an operation is on the way? I'm not really sure. Today's video, there's much to discuss. We're going to break down last night's blog post, showcase the changes, as well as the leaked operation missions alongside a bunch more. Now today's video sponsor is SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a buying but most notably trading marketplace for all your Counter-Strike needs. SkinsMonkey offers a wide variety of skins. Once you find the item you want, hit trade for either items you currently have or for one of many deposit options. You can use my code MANDO for up to a free $5 alongside a 35% deposit bonus, and with their large selection of skins, SkinsMonkey also offers daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways. If interested, the link will be in the description down below. Firstly for today's video is last night's blog post. Now this update is small, but it's the first real update of the month. Before this, it was just Valve sending out the MVP map creators fixes for their maps. Mainly Thera and Pool Day were the only real two maps that actually got fixes. But aside from that, there's dozens of more fixes that need to happen, as well as the obvious such as adding content, VAC 2, and anti-cheat. And then of course we have last night's blog post from July 11th. Now from last night's update, there's two different categories, that being maps and miscellaneous, and there's two maps that got fixed in the maps category, which is the one we're going to start off with for today's video. The first one up is Ancient. Valve fixed clipping on crates in the bomb site A to allow players to jump on the top again. Now this is pretty straightforward, and I'm not really 100% sure if this has been a problem since the beginning of CS2's lifecycle with Ancient being introduced to the game, mainly because I haven't really played Ancient, nor is it really my favorite map whatsoever. I try and avoid it at all costs, but I'm glad this is back or just fixed in the first place. And then for the second map in the map category, you have Vertigo. Valve fixed the clipping on the ends of the bomb site A to catwalk to prevent players from walking off. Now I'm not really 100% sure if this was actually to stop players from walking off, more so I believe Valve did this to stop players from boosting illegally, doing some crazy bugs, or just figuring out something they probably shouldn't be doing that's an illegal boost or something similar inside the game. But this also reminds me a lot of when Vertigo actually first got added to the map pool just a few years ago. On B bomb site, it was always notorious of players just falling right off, especially on the catwalks around the bomb site. And then Valve added these little railings or the wood pieces so you don't fall off. That made it a whole lot easier, so I guess this is just a pro for everybody. And then of course, lastly for today's blog post is the miscellaneous category. Valve fixed occasional first-person camera jolts when throwing grenades. Now, I don't know if this actually happened in-game. I only really ever saw this in demos. I mean, you guys could see it in my own videos just from the B-roll I have, but when you throw a nade, it looks all jankety, spins a million times in the air, mainly because you see the tracer of where the nade's actually thrown, so that does not help. But just in general, I'm glad that's fixed. Now, heading back into the blog post very quickly, the Ancient changes actually remind me of the old boost on CSGO's B site from Mirage looking into apartments. It was practically the exact same thing. You'd edge yourself right in the corner, little slit in between the boxes, very also similar to the triple boost on Mirage A site. My question is, one, why hasn't Valve added that back to B site looking into apartments? That was a part of CSGO. I'm not 100% sure if it was a part of older Counter-Strike games, but I know it was a part of CSGO, and it's been a year since CS2's been out, and it still is yet to be added. Now, as it stands for shadow updates, there are some additions in the sense of co-op missions and quests being found by Gabe Follower in this most recent update. Gabe Follower sent out a tweet saying a new string popped up in the protobuff in the latest CS2 update, specifically related to missions / quests and operations. Now, this tweet has definitely been hyped up by the community, but at the end of the day, we're not really sure what it means. There's a lot of things that have been tied in these recent updates behind the scenes and sometimes in the blog posts that never really get to see the light of day. An example of something that was included in the blog post was Overwatch 2, or Overwatch being added to CS2 in general. This was just a few months ago, and we have yet to see Overwatch inside CS2 whatsoever. Now, I'm sure eventually Valve will add the ability for everyone to use it, but as it stands for right now, that is not available. And based off of Valve's intentions for the first year of CS2, I wouldn't expect this update, specifically operation missions, to come anytime soon. This could also just be a placement for something bigger down the road. But I guess this is also very nice just to get some reassurance that Valve is working on Counter-Strike 2 and specifically adding new content such as an operation sometime down the road. Now, what's also really interesting is Gabe Follower also mentioned a new knife or a new item slot for gloves has been in the game since late May of this year, but later on mentioned in a new post about the item slot is most likely incorrect. Now, this other knife was actually leaked around the exact same time the Kukri was around a year ago. The new knife that was leaked and supposedly may be coming to Counter-Strike very soon is the Twin Blade, which the knife in my opinion is actually mid at best, and supposedly according to leaks it was actually supposed to come out this year. But then again, so was the Tomahawk in 2015 CSGO. Gabe Follower just a couple days ago put out a tweet about this new item slot, saying that he just found out in the May 23rd update for Counter-Strike, devs added an empty slot for an unusual item, for either a new knife or gloves. And then just a few hours later, he put out a tweet correcting that last post, saying that was most likely incorrect. He said it looks like the devs hard-coded the separator inside the drop box if, with a bunch of code, if is equal or more than 3. Then add an unpickable separator in between the options. He says the worst part about it is they've already added 2 different groups for knives and gloves, but they've already combined the third unusuals with a separator inside the drop box. He says this is one of the worst UI / UI/UX implementations I've ever seen. So that's all we know about this new unusual item slot coming to CS2 very soon, or that was leaked back in May 23rd of this year, alongside the shadow updates of co-op missions and quests being added to Counter-Strike anytime soon. Now that wraps up last night's blog post and shadow updates behind the scenes. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay positive, sexy. I'm out, guys. Peace.